Hey, this is Max with Aura, and in today's video, we're going over the checklist of things that you need to do if you're a victim of fraud. So you're the victim of fraud? You're not alone. Americans filed more than 2.8 million reports of fraud in 2021, according to the FTC. And that number has nearly doubled in the past 2 years. From imposter scams to fraudulent online stores, fake job listings, and investment fraud schemes, criminals have more types of fraud at their disposal than ever before. If you're a fraud victim, you're going to be upset, frustrated, and maybe even a little bit embarrassed. But fraud doesn't have to ruin you financially. So here's exactly what to do if you've been the victim of fraud. Number 1, don't blame yourself. The Department of Justice estimates that only 15% of fraud victims actually report their crimes. As a victim, you might feel angry and embarrassed that you were tricked, or you might not want to report fraud because you think that your losses aren't worth reporting. But don't let these feelings get in the way of reporting the crime. Not only will you help yourself recover, you'll also help prevent future fraud. Number 2, check your insurance coverage. If you have identity theft insurance, your provider should be the first call that you make. Your provider will help secure your accounts, uncover fraud, and walk you through the many steps of recovery. You may be covered by your workplace's insurance policy. Some homeowners insurance even covers stolen documents, cash, or credit cards. Number 3, act quickly to assess the full damage. Scammers hope it takes you a long time to recognize the signs of fraud. The longer that you go without reporting the crime, the more they can steal. So as soon as you realize that you've been targeted, start checking for and documenting the damage. And if you signed up for a credit monitoring service and they alerted you of the fraud, you should start there. Then check your other financial accounts for suspicious activity. You're entitled to one free credit report from all 3 major credit bureaus. And if you want that, just visit annualcreditreport.com. And when you receive your report, check for hard credit inquiries, new accounts that you didn't open, loans that you didn't take out, accounts that are in collections or records of bankruptcies, and any other suspicious activity. Number 4, notify your bank, lenders, and other impacted companies. Now that you know the depth of the fraud, you need to shut the fraudsters out of your accounts. Start by contacting your bank, credit card company, credit unions, and other impacted companies and notify them of the fraud. They'll close your accounts and walk you through the next steps. Next, you'll want to alert the 3 major credit bureaus that you've been the victim of fraud. They'll place a fraud alert on your account to stop scammers from opening new accounts in your name. The good news is that you only need to contact one company. They're required by law to inform the others of the fraud alert. And you have 3 options when it comes to placing a fraud alert on your credit report. First, a security freeze. A security freeze completely prevents your report from being shared with third parties until it's lifted. Next, an initial fraud alert. This requires lenders to verify your identity before approving new credit. This alert lasts for 1 year unless you happen to lift it early. And lastly, the extended fraud alert. After you file your FTC report, you can ask for an extended fraud alert that lasts for an additional 7 years. All of these freezes and alerts can be lifted for free at any time. Next, secure your online accounts against identity theft. It's a good idea to change all of your passwords and secure your accounts from cybercrime. Be sure to use strong passwords that are at least 8 characters long and combine letters, numbers, symbols, and lower and upper cases. Set up a password manager to keep track of all of your passwords and alert you of compromised accounts. And finally, enable multi-factor authentication on all of your accounts that allow for it. Next, report the fraud and identity theft to the FTC. You can file your identity theft report to the FTC at identitytheft.gov. This gives you an official identity theft affidavit that will help you dispute charges and repair your credit. And once you're done, print out the affidavit and keep a copy for your records. You'll need this to report the crime to your credit card companies, financial institutions, and local law enforcement. Next, file a police report. Once you file an identity theft report with the FTC, other law enforcement agencies can access it during their investigations. However, you may still need to file a police report for identity theft in certain situations. One reason is when you know the person who committed the fraud or identity theft, or if you have information that could help the police catch the fraudster. You should also file a police report if your identity was used in committing the crime. And finally, dispute fraudulent transactions and start to repair your credit. Once your identity and accounts are secure, it's time to repair the damage. Follow up with any company where the fraud occurred and send them your FTC and police reports as proof. Next, dispute incorrect information on your credit report and close any new accounts that have opened in your name. Agencies have to act quickly to close fraudulent accounts. Like most criminals, fraudsters love to return to the scene of the crime. So if you've been the victim of fraud once, there's a good chance that they'll come for you again. So for extra protection for you and your family, consider signing up for Aura. We'll keep your account safe from identity thieves and fraudsters. And if the worst happens, we're here for you 24/7 to help you recover from the fraud. So if you're ready for ironclad identity theft protection, head over to Aura.com and sign up for a 14-day free trial. We'll see you next time.